Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It is August the 12th, 2025, and right now, again, it's 9:32 to be exact. And today's message is stop trying to be the author of your book and allow God to be the author of your book. Because remember, if life is dealing you a card that it's been dealing you over and over and over and over, and you're not winning that game, it's time to switch it up. It's time to do something different. So stop trying to be the author. Stop trying to play your own deck and play God's deck. And maybe you'll win. Maybe you'll win. Switch things up. And trust me, it's scary. It may be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. But just try it and see what he does for you. See if doors will open that one day was shut. See if he starts placing you in rooms that you were afraid to walk in. Like, see what God will do. Like, just walk by faith and not by sight. Stop trying to be the author of a book that if you've been trying to be an author of a book that you was steady being stuck on page 33 and couldn't make it to page 34, you've been on page 33 for 5 and 10 years. What I mean by that is you just keep going through the same stuff over and over and over in your life, and you wondering, why am I still stuck here? Why am I not making any progress? Why is my life not changing? It's because you are not allowing God to be the author of your life. Switch it up, and I promise you change will happen. Things won't change if you don't allow change to happen. And that's what people don't understand. You have to be able to walk and step out on faith. Stop being scared to do things different. Stop being scared to not look like everybody else. That is what's blocking so many people blessings. If God puts it in your head, if you're thinking it, all you have to do is push it out. It's so many of us that's sitting back and thinking so many things in our head, but we're not doing it. We're not producing it. Like, do it. If you're thinking it, do it. Work it out. Figure it out by placing God in it, in the midst of it. And stop telling everybody everything. Sometimes just move in silence. And if you have a person in your life that's talking to you and that's pouring into you different than anybody ever else has done before, and they're saying things to you out of the norm, and they're talking to you about God, you better take heed to it, because that may be God speaking to you through them. A lot of times y'all be missing things that God is throwing at you because you be stuck in your pride and being arrogant. But trust me, when God is speaking to me through somebody, I be listening, I pray, and I take it to God. I take them to God. I listen and I take them to God. I make sure that I'm doing that. I'm never going to listen to what a human being, when I say man, that could be a woman, a man, but a human says to me that God has said to them without taking it to God. Because God is not going to tell anyone something without telling me. For me, God never tells anybody anything to tell me without telling me first. Everybody always gives me confirmation. And what I mean by that, God has already told me that one thing, and then all somebody comes back and do is just confirm it for me. Now, sometimes God will tell a person something for someone, and then he hasn't said it to you yet, and he will say it to you later. But God is never going to tell somebody something about you and not tell you. So when people say that to you, don't believe it unless God has actually spoke to you himself. But that's where that intimate connection with God comes from. Y'all have to go to God and stop going to men. And sometimes we have to block people, and sometimes it's family. And when I say family, I mean anybody. It could be your mama. It could be your daddy. It could be your sister, your brother, your cousin. It could be your children that are grown. It could be them too. Sometimes we just have to stop. In order to hear God, we sometimes have to block people. And it may be hard, but we got to do what we got to do if we want to stop these generational curses and all of those things that's going on in our life. You have to fight for the victory of your salvation and for your children. And sometimes that means closing door on your children if they're adults. Not our children that's minors and they still depend on us, but our grown children, yes. Our parents, yes. Our cousins, yes. Best friends of 20, 30, 40 years, yes. And does that mean that the door has to be closed forever? No, it may be temporary, but sometimes it may be forever. It may mean walking away from that job so I can start that business that I want to start. It may mean staying at that job so I can get the skills that I need for that business that I want to start. Right? It may mean being at that job so I can get promoted, so I can see how to be a leader in a proper way. Or it may mean that I'm at this job being led by somebody that don't know how to lead, so I know the correct way not to lead. God literally had me being mentored by somebody that didn't know the correct way to do it, so he could stop me from not being arrogant and not being just being where I wanted people to idolize me. And I was wondering why he was taking me through that, and he revealed it to me, because I'm like, this woman right here, her spirit is not of God. Like, I'm not liking the way this woman's acting. And he revealed to me why he was taking me through that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Some lessons are meant to be taught. So don't let a person tell you to remove yourself from someone because they don't understand. But we have to let God be the author of our book. Let God be the author of our life. Like, it's so many people that are dying, leaving this earth not being what God wanted them to be because they're not letting him order their steps according to his will. And then you're wondering why you're so miserable, and then you're sitting on TikTok and on Facebook and even walking around in life with this fake facade like you're happy, but then when you're in your nakedness and you're alone, you're suffering and you're miserable because you're not allowing God to be the author of your life. Like, it's time out for that. We're in our last days. Y'all better start looking at the way the world is looking. I don't even watch the news, but I'm seeing it all before my eyes, and I'm hearing it when people is talking to me about the world and the way that it's going. And when I'm just looking at how the world is going and just everything, I'm seeing it right before my eyes. Y'all better get your lives together and get right with Christ, because we are in those days. We're in those days. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep trying to prove a point to all these people that's doing all this foolishness? Or are you going to be trying to prove a point to God? I'm proving a point to God, and I'm trying to save my people. So either you're going to jump on the bandwagon with God on this narrow road, or you're going to continue to be on this wide road and trying to prove a point to all these people that's not about nothing, because that's what it's about. But we have to get our lives right with Christ, y'all. And we have to let him be the author of our life. We do. If the hand that you're dealing yourself is you're steady losing, throw that hand out. Ask for a new deck. And what I mean is go to God. Take it to God. Tell him, say, I'm throwing this hand back in. Deal me a new deck, God. I want to start over. Rewrite my book. I'm tired of being stuck on 33. Page 33 is a no-go. I'm ready to get to the end of the chapter. Start over. This is the time. Last month was the 7th month of the year. 7 is the number of ending. Come on, y'all. It's August. It's August. Come on, let's get it together. We are past the halfway month of 2025, 2026. We should be looking for great things. We should be starting for great things, for new things. So 2026, we should be in financial debt should be being cleared up. We should be trying to figure out what we can do to be in better careers, maybe entrepreneurships. If we're not married, seeking marriage, stable relationships, searching for our spouse. Our children should be trying to figure out what can I do to make sure that my children are correct and where they need to be for their the end of their lives, and what can I do to make them better out here in the world and their salvation. What can I do for them? How can I set them up for righteousness? How can I set them up to be entrepreneurs at a young age? Like, that's all the stuff we need to be trying to do, instead of trying to figure out, how can I get them the latest iPhone? How can I get them the latest Gucci bag? How can I get them the latest bundles? Like, let's think about this in a different mindset. We have to. It's not just about these children that we have right here now. It's about their children and their children's children and their children's children. That's what I want my children to, my great-great-great-grandchildren to say. Man, my great-great-grandmama was on her stuff. She wasn't worried about the latest bag and all that stuff. She was worried about us having another building out here. She was worried about us making sure we wasn't working for nobody. She wanted us passing out crumbs. She didn't want us getting the crumbs. She wanted us baking the pies and slicing them and passing out the slices. And what I mean by that, if y'all ain't catching it, I want my great-great-grandchildren say, my great-great-grandmother was saying we was going to be pie slicers. We wasn't getting the slices of the pie, which means we passing out the checks. We're not getting the checks because we're business owners. We're entrepreneurs. That's what I'm doing. So that's what I'm saying. And there's so many ways that we can do that right now. It's so many ways that we can do that. So allow God to be the author of your book so you can set your children's up for success. We don't just want to get success for ourselves and then we end up dropping the ball and then we're stuck back at square one. And what I mean by that, let's think about it. How many of our grandparents owned a business, or our dads or our moms owned a business and then they end up losing it? Or we can even just say something small that ain't really small, because if your grandmother or great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother even had a home, or your great-grandfather or your grandparents had a home, or they have a home, that's big, especially in the black and brown community. Well, not really the brown community, because what they gonna do, they gonna get out there and hustle. Them Hispanics, baby, everybody gonna be living in that house together, and everybody gonna end up with a house because they gonna grind together something that we ain't figured out how to do without being all combative and arguing and all that in our community. Maybe we'll figure that out one day, but we ain't figured that out just yet. But all I'm saying is, we get these houses, our grandparents, they get these houses right. We have these houses, and a lot of times we end up losing them. We end up selling the houses that they worked hard for. And I be sitting back and I think, and I be being quiet about it, but I'm like, shoot, that's sad, because if your great-great-grandparents worked for this house, and then all you do is just go sell it off after all their hard work. Back in the day, do you know how hard that had to be for them to actually get that home? For you to just sell it? Like, fight for it. Pray and ask God to give you the guidance. Allow him to be the author of your book, people. We have to start thinking smart. And then we get so mad at everybody else. It's us. We have to draw closer to God and get that intimate connection with him. I don't care what else you do in your life. If you don't hear nothing else that I'm saying to you when I'm posting these videos, hear me say, get an intimate connection with God. Let God be the beginning of your day. God, I thank you for breathing breath to me. And what I mean by that, because the breath that he breathes is the oxygen that flows through us. That's why we're breathing, is because of God's breath. That's the oxygen right there, right? So that's all I'm saying. Wake up every morning. Thank you for allowing me to be amongst the living. Because somebody laid down, a few people laid down thinking that they was going to rise and they did not. So every day that we wake up, that's another opportunity for us to start over and get it right with God. He's given us another chance. So all that holding grudges against people and saying, oh, I ain't going to do this. I'm tired of talking to this person and I ain't going to forgive this person. God is a forgiving God. Every time that he wakes you up to start over, that's him forgiving you yet again. So you can't give mercy on your brother or your sister the way that he's extending mercy and grace to you. Please get over yourself. We have to get over ourselves. Now, I'm not saying just accept anything, but we can have a forgiving heart. We can have a forgiving heart. We know when to close the door, and we know when to open it up or not when to open it up again. And I'm gonna stop on that note because I am still working. And I ain't feeling the best today. I was feeling pretty good this morning, but I had to do a training today, so I actually had to get up and work from the desk a little bit. So I ain't feeling the best, so I'm gonna end this right here. I am planning on going live because that's something that I'm dedicated to doing. But again, I love me some y'all, but most importantly, God loves you, and allow him to be the navigation of your life, and he will not steer you wrong. And again, happy Tuesday. I hope somebody gonna cook some tacos. I think that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna cook some tacos, something simple, but it's gonna be some not all that extra stuff. I don't even know if I have no lettuce in there though to be trying to cook no tacos. I might, but we gonna have some tacos tonight. I'm gonna throw something together. I love y'all. Y'all have a great Tuesday.